an art.
كتاب الله حادينا يؤم بنا ويحدونا منارا ضاء في يدنا ينير الدلج يهدينا كتاب
or PowerPoint very easily. So this is what I thought I could put it together. Before I start, I just put it, this is famine. If you hear the word of famine, that's the effect it has to the people. Times, the civil war, the famine itself, the drought itself, and all those are the causes of famine. The second one I like to share because it is more historical. As a Somali diaspora, the effect that famine has to us. This is one of his pictures that he took and illustrated by expressing what damage that famine does. So that's in Somali, and two brothers that talking to each other. Dhimatay Ilaahay weyn iyo walaalahena Soomaalida noo maqan basically. So that tells you the responsibility as you young people or us who live in overseas, what kind of responsibility that we have generally. Because the money we donate to the famine causes and the money we send home are what making people leave actually and survive. I was doing the statistics and it says 80% of Somali GDP actually comes from overseas. So you can imagine 80% of what those people survive are provided by the people living outside the country. So that means a lot to us. That actually makes us at some point that we're really helping home to survive. Another picture which is so amazing during the famine was this one. This one hit me very hard as soon as I saw it. The two brothers also celebrating an Eid Islamic celebration, and this is the conversation they having together. So one of them is saying, I don't think I translated it all, but one of them, this is a concept of what it says. If our father was alive, he would have bought us Eid clothes for us. And if Mama was alive, she would have dressed it for us. Traditionally, our fathers are the ones who are responsible to buy the stuff for us. And you celebrate when you take a shower. In the Eid young age, your mom is the person who wears you the brand new clothes that your father bought. So it's such a celebration and a family gathering. And imagine if you don't have both of them and you lose both of them in a famine, and you're only survivor in the family. So that is really a very powerful one. I thought I should share with you as well. Also, what is instability brings, the crowd of people, and some of us never experienced a refugee camp, some of you guys born here, some of us when we're running from home to come in here, the refugee camp, it's not what is happening right now, it's totally the opposite. So it's kind of picture how these things happen, so I figure I can put it in. And they tell you refugee camps in Kenya or Ethiopia. Or one of the very important things that we're also missing is that UN satellite imagery that we were following actually says we have 188 of these camps inside Somalia that satellites recognize where the people are gathering from the famine. So not only is it a refugee camps, but inside the country, people displaced and gather somewhere, everywhere, the whole south in Somalia. So 188 camps, that's a very huge itself. This is another one I also took, it's very interesting. When the famine happened, the animals dies and human being and so many diseases happens. One of the worst impact is actually when it rains, because the disease, the cholera, the outbreak of all these things. And what it brings itself is huge effect in the famine. So, so it's very interesting that we have to know not only famine is happening or happening last year or still happening. What people cannot recover at the moment is what it left behind. those places that have a lot of people dead, or these farming places and outbreaks of diseases every day is happening. The refugee camps, especially the Dab and all those places, people always complain because of the disease that exists in there. And I also like to take statistics as well. When the famine happened, it was one of the worst years ever, because itself here in America, people were in tough economically. The money was not there, the jobs dropped out, there was nothing going on. In 2008, before US economy collapsed, the diaspora used to send back home $1.8 million. Last year alone, the diaspora sent $1 billion home. That tells you because they lost that 8 points because the economy was not doing good. Because of that, people who were willing to give the money away, we were not lucky. It was a bad year, there's so much experience. Regardless of what they see, people were not giving the money away because they were hardly surviving themselves. So that was another good point to share. So this is the Somali diaspora. The famine impacts Somali Americans here. And why does the famine affect the Somali Americans here? I like to share 3 more points concerning. Everybody's concerned, from their friends, their relatives, how they can eat and all those. That's one concerning. The second one is frustration, because of when you realize there's not a whole lot you can do because of the famine happening. You always have a lot of frustration about the situation that's going on. It's stressful because this situation is continuing, and there's nothing you can do about it. So it's stress yourself as well, and as well as depressing. There's so many things that you could have done yourself. You see the image of the famine itself today, our Somali face, and you go to restaurants and where Somali gatherings are and all those places, they will tell you we're the best people in the world. And if I would unfortunately agree with that, we would not be the face of the famine in this civilized world. So let's be real and take responsibility and think about it. We wouldn't be the famine face in this world if we're doing good. So there were people that are using fundraising for Cambodia. The other day in New York was using Somali face as the famine face. So let's be real. How did we get out of that picture where we are? I think we are the hope who can change that, change Somali face from the famine face, and change that. One last point I'd like to mention also. Our kids here in America are very frustrated when they watch on the news and whatnot. That hits themselves and they ask you many questions. And especially they do, as adults, we have to talk to them one-on-one, because they are in a hard situation. We got to tell them, like, what do you see in TV in here in America might not 100% be true. So, yes, it happened, but yes, it's not this is what's happening, this is what's happening, and this is what made it. So it is very good important to share that. Before I finish, let me see. Of course, we have radio shows. Thanks. I want to thank for the sisters, because the famine, when famine happened, Somali sisters here in America were the biggest lead of the famine. At these events that we have today, I would like to thank Habibo, all Somali sisters, as well as Somali Young Organization, and we also have Gulet here, where is it? Who helped us, Somali Student Association, this university. So, but we're always thankful. The reason Somalia is not dying, I think, because of the women, and that should be mentioned everywhere we have a lecture. Finally, I would like to mention one of my #1 special person. Oh, so that is the family statistics. We don't need it. Before I get out. Yes. Because of the Somali women, I like to share. 1 second. I'm done. Yes, I know. This is the last presentation. So this woman right here is actually a real woman that's from Minnesota. She was an amazing and inspiring person. She left it here and went back home, and she was the lead of the famine recovery. You can see the arts as an American background, because she was able to talk American organization to allocate the money in the right places, and she was the voice. So if you have a heart, she says, this haircut help your country, and God save Somalia. So to come back for that, what are our responsibilities? This is how it affects ourselves here and home. We are the people who has the hope in Somalia. In Somalia situation is very tough situation at the moment. But anytime you are in the worst situation, you can get out of it. And that is part of a hope that people can get out just because they experience. So today, let's think about it, that you guys are the hope of our people. I want to conclude one phrase. There is a woman called Harris Johnson. People know her because of the labor union in this country that she was very famous about. She said, pray for the dead, because they're dead already. There's nothing you can do about it. Just pray for them that God takes them to a saving place. But fight like a hell for the living. Make sure you fight for those ones that are living. Fight for those ones that are alive. And I just want to conclude that. Thank you very much for listening.